I think everything comes from images that you create for yourself. Some come from Egypt, some come from my experiences outside. And it's a big mixture. You put a bit of yourself together with the things that you absorb, and it becomes your life, your art. The women in that group were part of my childhood. I grew up in a Jewish surrounding and family, but I was very close to the nannies. There were women who came in to help, to take care of children, and I was very close to them. I had Muslim friends and Egyptian friends that were my very best friends. So we really enjoyed the contact and the familiarity of the language and the ways. As I went to school, I used to take the tramway because it was faster than the school bus. And it would take me to a very central part of Cairo. And there it used to turn around the whole square. And it was 7:30 in the morning. Women were busy going to work, starting their day. And this impression of those women all dressed up in black, rushing their way, always intrigued me. I was wondering what was happening underneath that cloak. I was wondering what was happening underneath that face that was covered. Were they beautiful? Were they sad? Were they happy? It was a million questions. I think there are always happy days for children, but in my case, at the age of 5, my father died, and that was very traumatic for me. I was frightened that they say he was dead, but what if he was not dead, and that they buried him alive? That thought pursued me for a long time. I thought I remembered one vision when he would come from work and would hang his cane and his hat, and then he would clap his hands, and I would come running the corridor and jumped into his arms. Whether it was made up or true, I don't know, but this is a vision that I have of my 5-year-old memory. It comes again and again. I was a chalutz in Egypt. My husband was a shaliach, and that, in my eyes, was something very, very important. That's how we met. So when I came to Israel and I saw the Recanatis, I was somehow intimidated. There was the matriarch, his mother Mathilde, who was a very bright woman, very well educated, with her 4 sons receiving me. And I felt, well, I was 18 years old, felt very silly, and I said, okay, it didn't matter. You know, I'll understand them one day. But we left immediately to study in England. As a child and even as a teenager, all we knew were the Egyptian art, as far as art was concerned. It was all around us. The playground was the pyramids, the Sphinx. It was only later on, when I left for Europe, for England, that I was struck with the Western art. I was drawing all my life at home in Egypt. But I think when I went to England, I began to be awakened to something much bigger that I could be a part of. Then when I came to New York 2 years later, I went to the Art Students League for 3 years. While at school, in the 3rd year, I participated in an exhibition that was competitive. I presented a work and it won a prize. And that gave me the incentive I said, well, if they recognize it enough to give me a prize, I should pursue that seriously. And I think that it was this event that really opened a new door to me. This is the first time I'm able to show the large canvases. Actually, they are drop cloths. They are ordinary, wonderful canvases that the house painters use when they paint the walls or the ceiling because they absorb paint very well. It was very coincidental that I came across them. And I used to go from shop to shop where they would sell house paint and things to get the canvases. But once I painted them, I didn't have where to show them. They were so big. There was no wall that could accommodate them, only museums and things. So now for me, this is a very wonderful thing that's happening, that they have the opportunity to show them. Also, I work them on the floor. And here, the curator agreed to do it this way, and she was happy to do it. So for me, to find those things in their original place when I work them is very important. They're not just hanging, they're also below us, and our vision goes around them. It was really a very wonderful opportunity. The promise started with a group of tents. Again, I came from Egypt, and tents were part of my life. At one point, I said, I must try it on the wall. And as I finished it, I put it on the wall, and it worked. And also, we took from a stable thing, we put it on the wall. It's the same fabric, the same structure, but it's sitting in a different position. I think the white pieces just came about 10 years ago or so. I had been working with a lot of blacks and dark colors, and I felt I needed to explore light pigments and light colors, and I decided to leave the canvas untouched, and it's not painted, it's the color of the canvas. Cosmos were a happy thing that happened to me. My assistant, Ton, went out to buy some material, and he came back with acids. I said, I don't know, let's see what we can do with those acids. So we ordered aluminum plates and experimented with the acids. They were different colors, they were different things, and they opened a whole new adventure. So we began to really experiment, and I started doing those one after the other. I don't even know what kind of acids they were, but we just picked them out and experimented, and we knew that this one turned yellow and this one turned this. It was a fantastic experience. I had the opportunity to be able to help make a collection in New York, to bring to New York a lot of artists that would not, at that time, it was still the very beginning of the State of Israel. And since I loved art, and I thought that it would be a wonderful opportunity for young artists to be able to express themselves outside, I took this opportunity. Fifth Avenue became a showplace for wonderful art. They had a huge Ardon. They had a Danziger. They had Kadishman at the window. They had Dani Caravan and many others that were wonderful. I was in the path of opportunity, and I thought I would use it in my own way to do it in the art world. I am now in my 90th year. It's a bit astounding for me because I said, where did they go? How did it happen? I always felt that 90-year-old people couldn't talk, couldn't say anything, and I'm a bit overwhelmed by my own years. I think that we also grow and we also change. Our experiences become more vivid, more striking, or else even less important. So, and also our capacity. At 90, I don't have the same explosive nature as I had at 40, naturally. So this is something that happens to us as we grow old. But the truth is that it's wonderful to be able to be alert and to be able to see the state of Israel get to this stage. And for me, my whole family is here. I arrived in Israel because of the invitation of my son, Udi. He is a very grounded Israeli, and his family and the rest of my family all together. And I felt it was easy for me to make the transition, even at this age, and to be surrounded by family and by a place in which I feel very comfortable. So it happened, and I made Aliyah. I'm still in limbo, until I prove I am a good citizen, but I'm fine. I'm happy to be here, and I'm thrilled that I'm near the family and near good friends. I think it's a present for a lifetime to remember, because, when you are 50 and you have a big show, you're very pleased and very happy. But at my age, to be able to put this together and to have the luck to fall on a wonderful curator who is really very into it and understands and has the refinement of every piece is a gift. I wish I could inspire future artists. Maybe I can inspire them in saying continuous, assiduous efforts are very good. In the end, something happens. The more input you put, the more output it will be. I think that Israel is doing very well in art, and we have wonderful artists that have started this whole movement of art altogether, and let's hope we continue in this direction.